You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral. My name is Bob Powell. It's January 11th, 2018, and today we're going to ask the question, why does Stephen Myhre still have a job? For those that don't know, Stephen Myhre is the first assistant U.S. attorney for the District of Nevada, and he's been persecuting, not prosecuting, mind you, but persecuting the Bundy since 2014. And last week, that case was thrown out by District Judge Gloria Navarro, and she cited flagrant prosecutorial misconduct as the reasons. Well, we can't have a man representing the people of the United States in a court of law being a flagrant misconductor, can we? No, we can't. So I wanted to find out what the United States Attorney's Office was going to do about Stephen Myhre. Obviously, he can't be trusted. So I got in touch with the public information officer. Her name's Tricia Young, and she speaks for the District of Nevada, the U.S. Attorney's Office. Tried to get her to come on the show to answer my questions, but she wouldn't do it. You know, she was very polite, but she refused to do so. She asked me to submit my questions in writing, which I did. And just a little while ago, I got my response. And in a little while from now, you're going to hear what that response is. But first, we're going to take a look at these questions. I think they're perfectly legitimate. Dear Miss Young, I asked, per our conversation earlier today, I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask about First Assistant U.S. Attorney Stephen Myhre. In the case U.S. v. Chapman, the United States Court of Appeals, Ninth Circuit, found that Myhre's actions amounted to prosecutorial misconduct in its highest form, conduct in flagrant disregard of the United States Constitution, and conduct which should be deterred by the strongest sanction possible. My questions are this. Was Mr. Myhre ever hit with the strongest sanction available, or any sanction at all? Number two, why would the government continue to employ a prosecutor who displays a flagrant disregard for the United States Constitution? In the case U.S. v. Bundy et al., as she dismissed the government's case with prejudice, U.S. District Judge Gloria Navarro cited flagrant prosecutorial misconduct as the reason, noting that Prosecutor Myhre made several misleading statements to the defendants and the court, that the government conduct in this case was indeed outrageous, that the prosecution showed a reckless disregard for the constitutional obligation to seek and provide evidence, that Mr. Myhre engaged in deliberate attempts to mislead and or distort the truth, and that the court finds that the universal sense of justice has been violated. My questions are these. Now that First Assistant U.S. Attorney Stephen Myhre has been dressed down by two different courts for his highly unethical, immoral, and possibly illegal actions, will he be representing the government in the trial of the Tier 3 defendants? Number two, will he be sanctioned for his outrageous conduct during the prosecution of the Bundys? Number three, if so, what might that sanction be? Number four, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn just pled guilty to lying to the FBI, so obviously it's a crime to lie to the government. Will Prosecutor Myhre be criminally charged for abusing his office in order to deny defendants a fair trial, for willfully violating their constitutional rights, and for lying to the court? Question number five, if not, why not? Number six, please give me an official statement on behalf of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Nevada concerning the proven serial misconduct of First Assistant U.S. Attorney Stephen Myhre, Henry U.S. v. Chapman and U.S. v. Bundy et al. And I went on to explain to her just a little bit. Miss Young, my show takes a lot of heat. I even get death threats because I generally support law enforcement in our Article 3 courts. I've defended police officers and the government whenever possible. But in this case, there is no way that I can do that in good conscience. Our republic rests upon the maxim equal treatment before the law, and Prosecutor Myhre has shown nothing but contempt for that ideal. The people of the United States expect our government officials to discharge their duties without prejudice and with honor, seeking justice, not a conviction at any cost. And Mr. Myhre has failed miserably. Even though he's a former Marine, Mr. Myhre seems to have forgotten what the word honor means. He not only lied to the defense, he lied to the court. My final questions would be, how can the people of the United States allow a proven, dishonorable, serial liar to continue representing them in a court of law? And then the second question, how can the people of the United States trust their government if it allows men like Stephen Myhre to operate with impunity? I told her, thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. If you'd be able to give me your answers over the phone so I can record them, please let me know, and I'll call back at your convenience. If not, please provide the answers to the questions in writing in response to this email. God bless and Semper Fi. I'll be Powell, publisher, editor-in-chief. The truth is viral. Okay, so a little while ago, I got her answer, and I will be sharing that with you presently. But first, I want to hear from Larry Klayman. You all know Larry Klayman. He's a very famous attorney. Judge Navarro denied his petition to become Clive and Bundy's attorney in violation of the Sixth Amendment, but we won't go into all that now. But Mr. Klayman is a very famous attorney. He's done a lot of great things, and he's got something to say about Prosecutor Myhre's future. And for this, we're going to go to Readout News, and this clip, courtesy of Sherry Duvali. She's been doing some great work out there, and it's just awesome. I want you to check this out.
Stephen Myhre should be prosecuted. He should be a defendant in a case. He should lose his legal license. He lied to the judge. Even Judge Navarro said, I had been lied to by the prosecution. Stephen Myhre and Dan Sheese, his number two. Myhre was acting U.S. attorney, and the other prosecutor of the AUSA, her name is Ahmad, I believe it is. These people really, to play with people's lives like this, life imprisonment was what they were asking for, to play games, to lie to the court, to suppress evidence. We know that the whistleblower, Larry Wilmot, who came forward, was recommended to be fired by Myhre, according to him. I have pending, on behalf of Cliven, ethics complaints at the Justice Department with the Office of Professional Responsibility, the Inspector General. I trust, and I will be very insistent to have Attorney General Jeff Sessions make sure that that happens, but these people should no longer be lawyers, and they should no longer be with the Department of Justice. And as people know, I'm a once proud alumnus of the Department of Justice, but the Department of Justice has turned into a cesspool.
Mr. Klayman rightly observed that there's a disease inside our justice system, and it goes all the way to the top. We saw it with former FBI Director Comey. We saw it with Andrew McCabe. We saw it with Peter Strzok, the FBI agent, Lisa Page, his girlfriend, and Bruce Orr over at Justice. And, folks, these people get these positions of power and privilege, and they think that the law no longer applies to them, that they don't have to act with honor and integrity anymore, that they can do whatever the heck that they want to do. Well, they can't. We need to... as Donald Trump would say, drain the swamp and get rid of all these just basically evil people. Who wants to put an innocent person in prison for the rest of their life just because they can? Just because Harry Reid said so? What kind of a scumbag does that? Ladies, plug your ears for a second, but back in the Marine Corps, we used to call Marines like Myhre shitbirds. They've got no honor. And they have no business claiming the title United States Marine. But what does the Justice Department say? Okay, let's get to this email that I got from Tricia Young, the spokesman for the Nevada District of the U.S. Attorney's Office. In answer to the questions I wrote, she wrote me this email. She said, "Hi, Mr. Powell. Thank you for the email and questions. We decline to comment." Isn't that rich? You'd think actually that they're trying to shine me on, but I don't think that they are. Folks, I've been doing this for a long time, and if they were going to defend Stephen Myhre, they would have done it. I think that what they're doing behind the scenes is they are preparing charges, criminal charges against Stephen Myhre and his team, because what they did, in the words of Judge Gloria Navarro, was flagrant prosecutorial misconduct. Folks, this isn't my first go-around with prosecutorial misconduct. Back in the 80s, my very first story, in fact, involved a young boy by the name of Todd Neely. He was 16 years old at the time. He had been accused and convicted of attempted rape and attempted murder. But during the appeals process, that's where I came in and got involved. I worked with his private investigators, and we uncovered the truth. And it turns out that the assistant district attorney, a man by the name of Peter Neal, had withheld exculpatory evidence, the same as Myhre did in the Bundy case, that showed that a second suspect was likely the person that had committed that crime. And by the time I got done with it, after a year-long investigation, the story was picked up by the Miami Herald, Inside Edition, A Current Affair, blah, blah, blah. They even made a movie about it. And Peter Neal lost his job. Didn't lose his license to practice law yet. He moved to Texas, and then the people that he was going to work for in Texas, he lied. He didn't mention the fact that he had been dismissed from the Martin County District Attorney's office. So he lost that job too. He finally gave up his license to practice law. I think he's probably spraying Lysol in bowling shoes around Texas someplace. That was it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, right? But prosecutorial misconduct is a thing, my friends, and it's something that we've got to keep an eye out for and quash or squash like a roach. Coming from the Registry of Prosecutorial Misconduct, these are some 4 important facts that you need to know. Fact number 1, since 1989, there have been over 1,400 documented cases of persons who have been convicted and later exonerated. Number 2, an estimated 43% of wrongful convictions arise from misconduct involving prosecutors and other officials, according to the National Registry of Exonerations. Fact number 3, many different types of ethical violations have been reported, but the most common is the Brady violation, the failure to disclose exculpatory evidence. And fact number 4, this is the one we got to work on, fewer than 2% of cases of prosecutor misconduct are subject to public sanctions. Well, we've got to raise that number, folks. And we're going to do that. In just a minute, I'm going to take your phone calls. I want you to call 218-548-7742, and you can weigh in on this extremely important topic. I want you to punch in the code 2018, and I'll take your calls in the order in which they are received.
I'm Pete Santilli, and you're watching The Truth is Viral.
Do not click away. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hi, my name's Hillary Gump. You can call me Hillary Rodham Gump. That's what everybody calls me. That's my house back there. My mama always told me the White House is like a box of chocolates. It's pretty on the outside, but inside there's lots of nuts. Mama always told me, Hillary Gump, life is like a hairstyle. You just keep changing it till you find something that works. Anyway, in 1974, I went to Washington to help investigate that Nixon fella. That's when I became Deep Throat.
Hi.
Hi. Would you like a chocolate?
Oh, yeah, I would. Thanks. There you go.
Well, my mama always said reporters are like a box of chocolates. Too many of them can kill you, but the sweet ones are awful nice.
Hey, you got any French fries to go with these chocolates?
Yeah. Here you go.
Oh, thanks.
Cupid is as Cupid does.
That's where a commercial should have gone. If you'd like to advertise on The Truth is Viral, get a hold of me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/The Truth is Viral. If you've got a service or goods that you'd like to advertise to the entire world, let me know about it and we'll hook you up. But, folks, YouTube has demonetized nearly all of my videos, so I need advertisers to make up for that. But even then, okay, I never started doing this for the money. Okay, you know, those people that have been with me for a long time know this. In 2012, my 24-year-old daughter died from a sudden heart attack, and she'd lived with her mother, most of her life. But when she turned 18 and could choose who she wanted to be with, she came to live with me. And I couldn't have been more happy, right? I was on cloud nine. My little girl was living with me where she belonged. And I tried to tell her about Christ a few times, but she'd always stop me and she'd look at me with those big, beautiful eyes and she'd say, "Oh, Daddy, I don't believe in it." Well, I didn't push it. Okay, I didn't want to push her away. She'd just come into my life and I wanted to keep her. So I figured there'd be plenty of time to tell her about Christ. But turns out when we moved up to Michigan, she wanted to stay in South Carolina with her boyfriend. And 6 months later, she died of a massive heart attack. No explanation given. So I never did get the chance to explain to her about the sacrifice Christ made for us. And that's on my head. So I brought her ashes home from South Carolina, and I stood in waist-deep snow, and I made her a promise. I made a promise to Almighty God. At the moment, I feel like my guts have been ripped out. I really want to go crawl in a hole and die. But I can't do that. I still have a family that depends on me. And somebody's got to stand up and tell the truth. I failed my daughter in that respect. When she came to live with me, I tried to tell her about Christ, and she looked at me so sweetly and she said, "Daddy, I don't believe in that." Well, I just got her. And I didn't want to push her away. Now I've got to live with that guilt. There's only one way I can think of that would even begin to make up for that. And that's to tell you the truth. When Judgment Day comes, I'm not going to stand before the Almighty and say, "Lord, I didn't do whatever I could." I made her a promise. I made a promise to Almighty God that never again would I fail to tell somebody about the salvation that's freely available from Jesus Christ for the asking, because I was afraid of being ridiculed or that I might push somebody away. Never again. But I need your help in my mission to save lives and win souls for Jesus Christ. I think I said that YouTube gave me $5 last month for all my effort over the last 5 years. But that's okay. God will provide. Those that have the ability to donate can go to bobpowell.blogspot.com and hit that PayPal button, either a one-time donation or monthly recurring donation. You can choose either one, and for either one we would be extremely grateful, and it will help us continue our mission to spread the truth and save the lives and the souls of those who are in darkness, those that are being deceived. And I need your help to do this. Now, if you're on like Social Security or disability or something like that, please save your money. Okay? What I would like to ask you folks to do is share the show. I almost said a bad word. Share the poop out of this show. Put it in all your Facebook groups. Put it on Twitter. Wherever you have a presence online. Share the show. Put it in emails. Send up smoke signals. I don't care. Whatever you can think of to do. And your efforts would be greatly appreciated. But what I need most, folks, I need to be covered in your prayers. Okay? That is the most important and the most valuable gift that you can give me. You know, we're fighting powers and principalities. It's not a gunfight. And I need that buckler, that armor, the shield of God's prayers to protect me as I go forth to wage battle against the devil and snatch souls right out of his nasty mouth. So I hope you like the look of the new Truth is Viral. We're going to be going live on YouTube as soon as they reinstate my ability to go live. They gave me a strike because I proved that the Las Vegas massacre was a sham. You know, I took guns out to the range and I proved that you cannot fire a bump stock and a bipod simultaneously. The physics of the two devices cancel each other out. So I'm not implying that I know everything about the Las Vegas massacre. I probably know less than some, but I know one thing: the official story is a lie. And because I proved it scientifically, I got a strike, and I can't go live on this YouTube channel for about another month and a half, I think. So, yeah, subscribe to The Truth is Viral on this channel, on the backup channel that's listed in the comments below, and also our link to the Facebook pages there, and Bobby Powell on Google+, and subscribe to the blog, too, on bobpowell.blogspot.com, and you will be the first to see anything, because that's where all the news appears. And I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch The Truth is Viral, and for whatever you can do to give us your support. My name is Bob Powell, and as always, God bless, Semper Fi, and hoorah.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter at The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.